Hola! Coming in hot on this lovely Tuesday morning-ish afternoon in Los Angeles, California. Got my drinks here all set. Nice coffee and my, what is that, Zevia, the root beer, the ginger root beer. I don't like any other flavor. I like the, what is it, there's the root beer, then there's the cream soda. Other than that, get that shit on my face. The other flavors are terrible, but those two I ride and die with. Coffee, that, and I got my fancy Saint Laurent boots on that Brian makes fun of me for, but I'm obsessed with them. And I feel like I'm straight out of Game of Thrones in these. Jin, are the boots too much? Is it too much for the studio?
I actually like them, so.
Thanguys, man.
I'm from the country, and they remind me of the country.
Oh, I could see a little cowboy boot-ish.
Western.
Yeah, I feel like you guys should call me Lord in these things from freaking Game of Thrones. What can you do, man? I'm the guy in jeans and boots from now on. It's my new thing. Rocking this Barstool tee they sent me. And this will be, man, this is the last time we'll be in studio for a while because Thursday morning at 6 a.m. we leave for Toronto. We have a show Thursday night in Toronto, sold out. Then I'm in Toronto all day Friday doing press and shooting something, which is why the Milwaukee show was canceled. So just let you guys know, whenever there's a show that gets canceled for scheduling conflict, I have nothing to do with it. I have zero to do with it. So shout out to Milwaukee. Any date that gets rescheduled or gets canceled, I always make up to you guys. That I can promise. But as far as it getting canceled or rescheduled, I literally have nothing to do with that. This thing I'm doing in Toronto has been scheduled for months, so I'm not sure why Milwaukee got put on there. So I apologize. And then with Long Beach, too, the rescheduling. I think they're rescheduling Long Beach in September. Milwaukee is still TBA. But so it's Toronto is the show's Thursday night, and I'm all Friday doing media stuff and shooting something in Toronto. Saturday is Chicago, which Saturday, especially in North America, is the only tickets left, and there's less than 100 left, but that's the only show not sold out is in Chicago. And it's probably because it's UFC 214, which I understand, which we will also be talking about and breaking down Saturday night. However, that show starts early. I moved it early. I think doors at 5, show starts at 6. Good. We will be out of there before UFC 214 starts. You think I want to miss that thing? You think I want to miss UFC 214 or miss Garcia Broner? Hells no. Speaking of which, Chicago, I need a place to watch that fight. Chin and I need a place to watch the fight. Mm-hmm. No, I'm not going to anyone's house, and I won't go to Buffalo Wild Wings. So let me know. Let me know if you have any ideas or a cool spot to watch where I won't get dicks put in my mouth while I'm watching the fight. That would be great. That would be amazing. So Chicago Saturday night, and then Sunday night. Never done Sunday night show before. We're in Detroit, and that bitch is sold out like 8 Mile.
Nice.
Detroit sold out, and then Monday morning I fly back to LA for the day so I can see my son and Joe, and then we literally take the red eye that night to London. Then we're off to London. All the London, Manchester, all those shows are sold out. The only show not sold out, I think there's 50 tickets left. So all 5 shows in Dublin are sold out, except for on the 7th, the matinee show, August 7th in Dublin is not sold out. So that's all that's left. And then just now they just announced the Pasadena show at the Ice House August 9th, which is going to be tricky because I get back from Dublin on the 8th and I have a show on the 9th. So I might look like complete death. I might look like Tom Hanks from Philadelphia, but I'll be there and the show will be good. I promise you that. Pasadena Ice House. That bitch will sell out. Smaller venues, so get tickets now. tfatk.com. I'm staring at the artwork right now from Average Joe Art, and he put Chin on the poster.
Yeah.
It is pretty dope, and the whole theme of it is Big Trouble in Little China. Check that out. That is...
What?
Yeah, Big Trouble in Little China. How funny is that?
That's so funny.
That is the last official stop on the Money Fight Tour. It's Pasadena. We're in it here. I was about to say my hometown, not from Pasadena. Don't even live close to Pasadena. But when I say ended in my home, I would say California. So that works. So just announced Pasadena Ice House, August 9th that night. And then tickets left in Chicago this Saturday and in Dublin on Monday the 7th. Get all of that, tfatk.com right now. Everyone else good? Chin, you good, brother?
Everything's great, man.
You ready for the tour?
Hell yeah.
It's going to be fun, man.
It's going to be fun.
So you're with me, Chicago, Toronto, Detroit, and then we meet Jay in London. Shark Eyes Doll Smile, a.k.a. Hagoso Cock. That's so aggressive. Meets us in London. So we'll have the squad in London. And I'm trying to get Anthony Joshua on the podcast.
Oh, that'd be so dope.
Yeah. Well, my connections through Showtime. I'm trying to get to do a podcast with my boy Anthony Joshua out there. That'd be a fun one. Because we're going to have to do a Big Brown Breakdown on the road live from London.
Okay. Someone offered their studio too. I forgot who, but I think a couple, every time there's a tour and they know that you're going to be there and then I'll also be going along with you, they go, we have a studio here if you guys want to come in and record an episode.
Cool. That'd be cool. You know what else I'm looking for? I'm just thinking it, speaking out loud, and this could be super weird and I could end up getting murdered. It could be ISIS staging something and they rip my face off. Anyways, we should have someone get record this, like a video recording.
Videography, right?
For London and Dublin. If you are, listen up, everyone. If you are a badass, what do you say? What would you call him?
It's a videographer.
A videographer. You can edit, make it dope, like almost like a whole collage of the whole European tour that we're going on between London, two sold out theater shows in London, sold out theater show in Manchester, and then whatever 6 or 7 shows in Dublin. If you're a badass and you know what the hell you're doing, I don't want some intern. I literally someone who's legit as hell. And you listen to the show and you're a fan and you know what the hell you're doing. Reach out to us. Email the Fire and the Kid shop at gmail.com. Serious inquiries only. You got to, and show us what you've done before. I don't want, no 14-year-olds with a camera or some shit like that, or no moms, some old ass
moms. Can't
Can't be letting old pregnant bitches up in the club up in here. Can't be letting old pregnant bitches film us backstage and freaking cock blocking us. Can't have that. So, but if you're serious about it, I'm just thinking about it right now. It's just the Fire and the Kid shop at gmail.com. Also, if you're a really good photographer, we need one of those too in London, Manchester, and Dublin. Preferably one in each city. I don't want to bring someone around. If you're a dope ass video guy like Chin's talking about, we could probably bring you around, make that happen. So reach out, thefireandthekidshop.com. J Shab, a.k.a. Hagoso, a.k.a. Cock with Gills, will get back to you. I just gave him that nickname right now. Man, I've been busy as usual. Everything's all good. Excited for the tour. I always get a little bummed out. I get excited and I also get a little bummed out because I hate leaving my son. Because when I leave him for a few days, come back, it's like a different kid. He's like, "Who the hell are you, man?"
He says that to you? I mean,
no, he doesn't say. No, he doesn't. That's me in my head thinking that.
Oh, okay.
He's good, but yeah, man. On Sunday, I spent all day. I had to get a new car. I had some issues with my older one, and I had to get a new ride. So I spent all day at the dealer, at the car dealership. I learned from my papa, not to, kind of negotiate and stuff like that. I actually enjoy doing it. It's just a long ass process. Like there has to be a shorter way to get cars. There has to be a better way to do this, man.
Mm-hmm.
But they're literally there all day. Just a real beast.
What car?
No complaints. I got a new Porsche GTS.
Jesus.
Yeah. It's a fun one. Dangerous, fun. Dangerous, fun. But those cars, there has to be a better way to do cars. There's just, especially the paperwork. I was asking him, like, dude, can't there should just be an electronic signature. I shouldn't have to sit here while you print out these papers. It's like it's 1993. And he goes, a lot of car manufacturers do, like where you just do an electronic signature and they just email you or send you everything in the mail. But he said there's Porsche and there's a couple other like Ferrari, they refuse to go along with the times. Like, nope, we do it old school, which it is what it is. But
it's a good problem to have if you can afford those, I guess.
Yeah, I guess, man. What can you do? Just a car. They're all the same. Point A to B. Just one gets there faster, but they're all the same.
A lot faster.
They're literally all the same. It depends what you're in. Yeah, but other than that, man, everything's all good. I'm on season 2 of Game of Thrones. I have one episode left. And I'm on the season 3. It is so damn good.
For a second, I don't know why I thought you said that you're gonna be on
Game of Thrones
season of Game of Thrones.
Those boys are coming to my Dublin show. The creators, the guys who create the show.
Know.
So you never know. Write me in there. Let me die by Jon Snow or whatever the fuck he is, or bring back Aquaman and I'll grow my hair out and get all lean and shit. We'll see, man. I'm more being on the road. I'm more worried about the diet's tough to do, man, because we don't know when we're gonna eat.
Impossible,
right? Mm-hmm. How can you do it? I asked Rogan about it, and he's like, dude, listen. You're done with the show, you gotta eat. I eat late night. I'll eat carbs. I'll do whatever. It's just a beast on the road, man.
Yeah,
such a beast.
Just eat less, I guess, if you can.
Well, but there's the theory of calories in, calories out, right? Mm-hmm. So, let's say you did 5 meals of healthy food, but it's 1,000 calories, or you did 1 meal that's 1,000 calories. There's that debate. So literally, if you talk to some people, they're like, it's calories in versus calories out. I don't care what food you eat. Obviously, that stuff does matter, but there's some nutritionists will say, I don't care what food you eat. It's all about calories in, calories out.
Yeah, for the most part.
It just depends.
For the most part, yeah.
Yeah, like if you eat like 1,000 calories of gummy bears or 1,000 calories of broccoli.
Or 1,000 calories just meat, like a chicken or something.
Yeah.
It's different, yeah.
True, but some think calories in, calories out. Man, busy week in fighting in general. And obviously, we'll get into the current events of this crazy mixed martial arts world. Did you watch the fights, Weidman, this past weekend?
I did.
What'd you think of it?
I got emotional watching Weidman win.
Really?
Yeah, I really did.
My whole thing with this card, it was a great card, man. Yeah. I thought the whole card was packed. Everyone delivered. It was one of the better cards. Is a fun card. I thought Jimmy Rivera looked amazing against Almeida.
Badass,
I thought he looked amazing. And Pat Cummins, my boy Pat, won in a straight up war. I didn't have a problem with any of the decisions. That Darren Elkins one was tough. That was the only one where I was like, ugh, because New York's known for screwing guys over. That was the only one I don't know if I completely agreed with. Either way, though, there's argument for both of them. It's not like Dennis Bermudez got robbed, but I kind of gave him the nod. But again, that I can see both ways. And then with Chris Weidman and Kelvin Gastelum, I'm not here to say I told you so, but if you go back, I think it was when Kelvin fought maybe Vitor. Or it might have been, it was Vitor, because I was with Eddie Bravo in Austin when he fought Tim Kennedy. It might have been Vitor. When he fought Vitor, and obviously Eddie's his jiu-jitsu coach, and everyone supports him, and I love Kelvin. I think he's an amazing fighter. He's good for the sport. He's amazing. At 85 is just not for him. It's not. It's very unrealistic to think he can compete with the upper echelon guys at that weight class. And so we saw with Tim Kennedy. Listen, Tim Kennedy works. He's hunting Hitler, for God's sakes. He's on the back nine of his career. He had 1 foot in, 1 foot out. He's working that MMA thing, right? He's like the leader for that. He's doing all that. So Kelvin murked Tim Kennedy, but that's basically a retired Tim Kennedy, older Tim Kennedy. All right, cool. 85, that's cool, man. Even he goes, really, I'm a 70. I'm just doing these fights right now. And then they give him Vitor Belfort. It's shit, man. Vitor's 40 or where the fuck is. It's a TRT, not Vitor. So, and it's in Brazil, and he murks Vitor. He looks great doing it. But again, Tim King got Vitor. I'm not hating on guys. And the people, they can't fathom either you're the fanboy or you're a hater. But there's no in between. No, there is. There's this thing where you can like the guy, but also not be so in love with him that he's the next coming of freaking John Jones. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So with Kelvin, and back to my point, when I was on the fight campaign, those guys were like, dude, he's going to be champ. He's going to be champ. I'm like, you're crazy. And you guys can go back and look at it. I go, if you think he's going to beat a Chris Weidman, a Yoel Romero, a Luke Rockhold, a Bisping, like those upper echelon guys, they're so much bigger. And Kelvin has a ton of skill. But when there's a guy, if they're equal skilled, let's say Kelvin and Chris Weidman have equal skill, but Weidman's the bigger guy, then what's the one factor that's going to change things? Yeah. The bigger guy, taller, faster, same skill, right? Yep. So this fight, it was so scary for Chris Weidman because it's not that I was questioning his skills. I was questioning where his head was at in this one. So my heart was with Chris. I said my heart's with Chris. With Kelvin, we didn't know, but Kelvin, 85 is not for Kelvin. Kelvin can chill around the 6 to top 15 guys and do very well and live at 85 and do pretty well. He's going to struggle with some of the bigger guys there. He's just a smaller guy. He's not a huge 70-er. He's not a gigantic 70. There's bigger 70-ers out there. So I just think, Chris Weidman, it kind of rejuvenates his career. There's still fun fights to 85. I wish he'd go to 205. I think 205 is really maybe a better weight class for him. I think the 85 weight cut is killing Weidman. I think it's taking more of a toll on him than he realizes. But he looked great against Kelvin. But where's he go from here? Another Yoel? Nah, I don't want to see that again. Rockhold? I guess Bisping's the champ, so you got to get through one of those monsters before you get to him. I just don't see what is left at 85 for him. I think to rejuvenate his career, he beat Kelvin. You beat an undersized 70er who's on a hot streak. Okay, fair. But you're not back at 85. That's not a real 85er. So he needs to find another 85er. Maybe Jacare. Even though Jacare's coming off a loss. Maybe Jacare. Or what I would like to see out of Chris Weidman is go to 205. I hear the rumors around camp, how he does against, Stipe and these other heavyweight stuff like that. I think at light heavyweight, Chris Weidman can make a lot of noise. And look at the light heavyweight rankings. Like, what? It's terrible. Little Nog is ranked like 10 or some shit. Latifi's ranked 9. Then you got that random dude, Russian, who's going to be the next world champion. Ozdemir ranked 3 or some shit. Bader lost. Bader left. So there's openings up there. Like, I like a lot of matchups of Chris Weidman at 205. Way more than middleweight. There's not much excitement for him at middleweight anymore. Been there, done that. At the bottom of your career, I don't say bottom, back 9. That's fair to say, but at 205, you don't have to. You're not depleting your resources and your energy and your nutrients. 205, I think, would be a great move for him. I don't know what's left at 85. I thought the whole fight, the whole card was good. I'm sure we're going to talk about the ratings, all that stuff. I thought it was a great card, man. I thought Weidman delivered. I can't believe he didn't sell out. The arena didn't sell out.
Yeah,
in his hometown.
That's a little weird.
And I hear people, in the summer in Long Island or Strong Island, where the fuck you want to call it, or Staten Island, where the hell it was at. I don't know New York that well. Sorry, guys. They're like, there's a lot of options. No, stop that. Because if Conor would have fought there, if one of the major stars would have fought there, that bitch would sell out. I don't know what's going on there. Maybe it's because he was on a 3-fight losing streak. I think that had something to do with it. Name the last guy who headlined a main event on a 3-fight losing streak. Do you think maybe that had to do with ticket sales, even though he's the hometown grown boy? Kind of does, man. Kind of does.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm excited for the show today because we have my boy Paulie Malignaggi. Is that right?
Yes. Do it again?
Paulie Malignaggi.
Yep, perfect.
Paulie Malignaggi. Boom, son. Finally getting it. I love that guy. We got him calling in. I talked to him previously a couple of days ago, right when he got done sparring with Conor. Obviously, there's stuff we can't really talk about on here just because you don't do that in sparring, but and in camps, and I would never sell him out like that. It's such interesting stuff, man. And Paulie right now is he's the only guy who's been in there with Conor in boxing at his level. All this other stuff is hearsay and rumors, but he's there. He's there in camp in Vegas, sparring rounds with the dude. So there's no one better to talk to. And then he's in New York right now, and he's working for Showtime as usual. He's the top boxing analyst for them, and he's breaking down Mikey Garcia and Broner, which is such an amazing fight, which we will dive on in, and that's on Showtime. This whole weekend, to me, man, I don't miss any of it. So that Chicago show, live comedy show I'm doing on Saturday, I promise you we're going to get done in time so we don't miss any fights. You guys have my word. Let's jump on into these current events, Jen.
Sounds good. First current event is Michael Chiesa challenging Mario Yamasaki to a grappling match. Because you know how Yamasaki sort of came in early, kind of in a weird way came in early when he was getting choked out by Kevin Lee.
Yeah, I love
Chiesa. Or so Michael says.
Yeah. I love Chiesa, but he was going out.
Yeah,
you weren't getting out of that. You were going out, son. Your hands don't do this. Mm-hmm. They don't do this. That's, I don't care how experienced you are, what level of grappling you were going out. Anyways, carry on. But also, and again, I love Michael Chiesa. Don't challenge the ref to a grappling match. He a ref. He's 50.
That's another thing.
He's 50.
Michael. I didn't know that either.
He's not young. He's Brazilian and Japanese. Yeah. You know that?
Mm-hmm.
His first language is, I think, Portuguese. Do you know that?
I heard him speak Portuguese, yeah.
He's really a beast. Well. He's 50.
53, I think. I had no idea.
Really?
Yeah, I had no
idea.
Out of
anyone? I can never tell. Asians, black people, I can never tell. White people, so fucking easy. But Asians and black people, it's the same thing. It's like They look good. And then one night, it's fucking Yoda.
It's over.
Just fucking, oh, man, you look great. Jeez, what are you doing? What are you using for your skin? They hit 70. Yoda. Jesus Christ.
Especially
titties down to the ground.
The grandmas, especially the women.
Oh, the grandmas, they get mustaches and like, it's weird. Yeah.
It's pretty bad.
Yeah. And we're white people. We're like, we're just consistent. We might look ugly. We stay ugly. We don't get uglier. We just ride and die. We're like the turtle in this race. Just consistent. We stay ugly. Stay ugly even when we get old. We don't get uglier. We just stay pure ugly. We're Asians. It's like you're the rabbit. You're killing the game. Hot. Yeah, Yoda.
Hill.
Yeah, but back to this.
Yes.
Mario Yamasaki. Hey, Michael, I love you, man. He's 50. What are you going to get out of choking him? You lost the fight, brother.
He said it in a very cordial, nice way.
Yeah, he's a great guy. Yeah. He's a nice guy. But also, he's 50.
That's true.
You got to move on, Michael. Like, leave this alone. You lost the fight. I don't want to see the rematch of you and Kevin Lee. Kevin Lee needs to move on. You need to move on. You lost that fight. Mm-hmm. Let's move on. What's next? Give us another fight. You want us to forget about this? Get another fight. You got choked out. Happens.
Well, Yamasaki responded with pretty much everything you said. He was saying, like, he is older. He hasn't done jiu-jitsu in so long. Like, what would this do? What's going to, like, prove? But he also said he has, like, a bunch of jiu-jitsu studios out there that Michael's welcome to come if he wants to challenge him. And he said that if he did give him time to practice, he would actually take him on. Not for the Honor Invitational like Michael wanted, though.
Oh, Michael wants to do it at the Honor Invitational, which I would probably be the broadcaster on.
September-ish?
Yeah, I might be doing it. September 3rd. Yeah, good chance I do that one. Anyways, I don't want to see that bullshit. You know what? Hey, on it. How about I won't commentate if it's Michael Chiesa versus Mario Yamasaki? How about that? Let's wrap that up. For sure, battle someone your own age, Michael.
What do you think about what he says? He goes like, he said, I want to see whether or not that he says he claims to have a 5th Dan black belt in jiu-jitsu. He wants to see how good he is at jiu-jitsu.
Who cares? It's Mario Yamasaki. Who cares? He's a ref. He's 53. Michael he needs it. What you know what? Hey, Michael, here's the best advice I can give you. Schedule another fight. Mm-hmm. You want to get over this? You want to schedule another fight? Choke the guy out. Forget Mario. That's not you're pointing your gun at the wrong guy. Mario Yamasaki, bro, you were going out, man. Who cares? There's nothing to hang your head on. Kevin Lee's one of the, he's amazing. He's a phenomenal fighter. He's one of the best 155ers in the world. Who cares? Go fight another guy. Get over this. It's Mario Yamasaki. You're pointing your gun at the wrong fucking guy. Go point at the rest of the top 10. That's what. No, this isn't going to win you any fans here. Picking on Mario Yamasaki, the ref, challenge him to grab a match, does nothing for you. To me, I'm like, fuck. He has nothing to do.
Yeah. What do you think it does for Yamasaki?
Nothing.
If he actually challenged
Mario Yamasaki keeps on keeping on. What? I guess. I own a bunch of schools. I'm 53. I'm a dad, for God's sakes. Sure, come by and we'll roll. That's
Wouldn't it make him more popular or likable if he actually took him on the challenge?
And doesn't blow his asshole out.
That's the one problem.
Michael Chiesa. I mean, Michael's a monster grappler, I think this is a thing where Michael's ego's, he's a phenomenal grappler, so his ego's taking a hit, but you're pointing your gun at the wrong thing. Use your energy on the top 10.
Yeah, I think pretty much everyone agrees.
No one's like, oh shit, I got it. Are you here, Michael Chiesa and Mario Yamasaki going out? Oh my God, fuck Floyd Mayweather and Conor. I'm tuning into that, son. Said no one alive ever, Michael. Ever. Ever. What else you got?
All right. You know more about basketball. Draymond Green. You know how Conor McGregor wore a Warriors jersey with the number 23 on it?
I love this.
You know the story. I would rather you tell the story, but because you'd be way better
at it. Let me educate people. So, Conor McGregor wore a jersey. The jersey that he wore is not a current player for the Warriors. What he wore was a C.J. Watson jersey. C.J. Watson fucked Floyd Mayweather's girl. It's a diss, and it is a smooth disc. Now, so he wore this, and there's a picture of it, and then Draymond Green, right, put, hey, man, we're supporting Floyd, not you. Take that jersey off. And then just gets roasted. Hey, Draymond Green. Draymond?
Draymond
Green. All right. Well, here's the thing. So he put money 23 green. Let's get rid of the money 23. Let's not have money as our Instagram handle. At money, unless you're Floyd, let's definitely get rid of that. We rocking with Floyd, bro. Not you. Take that off, bruh. At the Notorious MMA. And then Notorious goes, that's CJ Watson, mate. I don't know who the fook you are. No disrespect, though, kid. Keep hustling and stay in school. Now ask yourself, why am I rocking a CJ when I don't give a fuck about basketball? I dribble heads off the floor, not a ball. This is no game here. Drops the mic. Koosh. And then Draymond Green should have just been like, dick pic. Because that's what we know you for on social media. I don't know if you've ever seen his dick pic when he's getting ready for the Olympics and he accidentally Snapchatted his giant purple dick out to the world and was like, made a mistake. That's supposed to go to a friend of mine and I accidentally sent my dick. You
never seen it? Really happen accidentally? I've never done Snapchat, so.
I've never done Snapchat. I can see how it could accidentally happen. If you're like, I guess if you're driving or maybe just in the moment, just jacking off just furiously and you're like, what?
Pictures of
what? Instagram, goosh. Oh! And then once it's out there, you're fucked. But Draymond Green, Draymond, you don't want none of this. This ain't for you, man. This ain't for you. You're a terrible trash talker. You don't jump in between Floyd and Conor. Because you've embarrassed yourself. Out of anyone, you don't know the backstory. So when you jump in, you don't know the flavor of the Kool-Aid. You look like an asshole. Because now you go, hey, bro, take that off. We're not rocking with you. And Conor goes, excuse me? No, fuck your basketball. I'm more famous than anyone on your team. Here's the thing. I don't know basketball. The only reason I'm wearing this jersey is because he fucked Floyd Mayweather's girl. Any other brain busters? Draymond? Is that your name, Draymond? Again, Draymond, get out. Get out. Go catch rebounds, some shit. Get out of here. What are you doing? It's hilarious, though. It's hilarious. The whoever got Conor that jersey, I don't even know if you can buy that jersey. Where the fuck do you get a CJ Watson jersey made?
I have no idea.
Hilarious. The ultimate savage savage move is him rocking that jersey. I noticed it right away. I'm assuming anyone who knows the backstory of Floyd or Conor, you would know right away, right?
I just remember from this old Instagram that Conor had.
When they're going at it. Yeah. Call me CJ Watson.
Yeah, I was like, who the hell is CJ Watson? So I remember reading about it back then, and then I realized who he was.
Again, Draymond, it's literally like to walk in the middle of the class when we're trying to figure some shit out, and then you just chime on in with this sweet symphony of shit talking. Here comes Draymond. Why the fuck are you playing trombone right now? No, the shit talking's a symphony. You came in with a goddamn electric guitar. Hey, man, know the goddamn song. Otherwise, get the fuck out. That's what happened here.
Do you even know when this picture was taking place? The one with Conor wearing the jersey? Because it seems like it's older.
It looks a little older. Draymond posted it too.
Maybe he just found it somewhere and then wanted to comment on it.
I don't know. Starving for attention, just bored, summer basketball, Money in the Bank, big giant purple dick. I don't know.
All right.
What else you got?
All right, you posted this. Fox 25. UFC on Fox 25 does the lowest overnight ratings in series history.
This drives me nuts.
More than Demetrius Johnson's. The last one with Wilson
I can't understand
Hayes.
It, man. It was a great card. It's a Saturday night. People go, bro, people got things to do on Saturday night. It's a terrible argument. It's a horrible argument. No, fights always are on Saturday night, whether in the summer. Granted, they might be a little lower in the summer, but typically UFC kills it in July. Their early July 4th cards. This is their biggest, the biggest cards this weekend. This was a free card on Fox. I think it's a number of things. I think every fight you're going to see until Floyd versus Conor is over is going to suffer in ratings. All anyone covers, all anyone talks about, all anyone cares about is Conor versus Floyd. It is what it is. Whether you like the fight, think it's a circus, whatever you think, it does not give a fuck, but you are thinking about it. And that's all anyone is talking about. So every fight after that is over is going to suffer in ratings, which we have seen. Every fight has suffered in ratings. Mm-hmm. Bellator, HBO boxing, Kovalev Ward 2, Bellator, Madison Square Garden, UFC 213. Yeah. Everyone's suffering. It's not the sport. It's being overshadowed by this enormous magnitude of an event. Broner Garcia will suffer. Hate to tell you, it's an amazing fight. That will suffer. Everything's gonna be a little notch lower because of this huge, huge whale that's over here that soaks up all the attention, all the water. That is what it is. But I thought being on Fox, being free, Weidman, Kelvin, it's a fun fight, man. And it bums me out when I see this. It just, I don't understand. And, I tweet out, are you not entertained? Like the gladiator voice. It's like, what do you want, man? This is an amazing card. And then everyone chimed in, oversaturated the marketing. I agree, the promotion, the marketing. Even the UFC, you look at the marketing on during this Weidman thing or UFC Tonight, anything like that. It's Conor. It's Conor versus Floyd.
Yeah,
that's all it really is. They're really not even marketing UFC 214. They run the John Jones commercial with DC, which is some of the best work they've done. But after you've seen that twice, yeah, I'm good. I love that video. I'm good on that. I can only see that twice. It's a long-ass video. I'm all set. It's the best promotional video they've ever done. So this is just a factor of this giant whale, which is Conor Floyd.
I remember we talked about this a while back, and I was like, why wouldn't people still buy the things that, the shows, the UFC fights that are big? Because I was like, I would totally buy it.
Yeah.
But then, boom, this is the last 3 big fights. It's happening. It's real.
It's real.
I didn't realize it.
Yeah, it's real. It's a bummer because they're missing some great fights. What else
Ready for the next one?
Yeah, what else you got?
Mike Tyson was talking to your boys at Barstool, and he says Conor McGregor is going to get killed in boxing.
In other news, Mike Tyson bites people's ears off. It's like, no shit. Anyone who name a boxing head that's not just
Tyson. For some reason, I thought wouldn't say this.
Really?
I really thought because he's a huge MMA fan. So I figured he thought
he is because it's the don't get twisted. There's a lot of celebrities, especially whether they're from boxing, other sports. They're fans of the UFC because it's the cool thing to do, because it's the cool thing to train in, because it's the cool thing to associate with. Because Conor McGregor, Ronda Rousey, Brock Lesnar, because it's the new kid in school. It's the hot new girl in school you want to be attached to, not because they actually love the art. Don't get it twisted. So he says. On Pardon My Take, which is a great podcast, Barstool Sports. I'm actually rocking a Barstool shirt right now. Pardon My Take. McGregor is going to, this is Mike Tyson speaking. McGregor is going to get killed boxing. I got mad because I thought they were going to use MMA rules against boxing because that's what it's all about. Okay. Can the boxer beat the MMA guy? Mick Conor. God damn it. Mick Conor, put his dumbass in a position where he's going to get knocked out because this guy's been doing this all his life since he was a baby. McConnor can't kick and grab and stuff, so he won't stand much of a chance. McGregor took the biggest sucker rules in the history of boxing. Okay, let's just go over a few of these things. So, first of all, I'm a Mike Tyson fan. I'm not a fanboy. I've never been a big Mike Tyson guy. I haven't. I think he's way overrated. I don't even have him in my top 5 of all-time heavyweights. There, I said it. Look up the records compared to Vander Holyfield, Lennox Lewis, Klitschko. He's not in the top. Muhammad Ali, George Foreman. I can keep going on with how he's not top 5. And look at name the best guy he's beat. Spinks and go. There we go. And then when he fought really good guys, he lost. Anyways, and I'm not just saying this because he's shitting on this fight. But I don't care what he says. Who gives a fuck what Mike Tyson says? To be honest, why? Of course he's going to say this. McConnor put his dumbass in a. So let's just go over this line. McConnor put his dumbass in a position where he's going to get knocked out because he's been doing all this since his life. McGregor took the biggest sucker rules in the history of boxing. McGregor took the biggest sucker rules in the history of boxing. Okay. So he's going to make upwards of over $150 million. So when you say the biggest sucker rules, and he's fighting a guy at 147 pounds with 10-ounce gloves on, who is not a knockout artist. What the fuck are you talking about, Iron Mike? Go do fucking Hangover 7 or something. Why are you hating on a guy? Why are you hating on a guy? And if anyone should get this business play, it should be him. So he has a new podcast out, which he was supposed to do the Fire and the Kid, and we had to cancel on him because he was 2 hours late. So he's doing a podcast. So he did the live touring, which again, this is all great, man. But he's doing autographs at Field of Dreams in Las Vegas. He's constantly looking for attention. So why would you hate on this fight? Why would you hate on this fight? And it's going to be bigger than any fight Mike Tyson's ever been involved in. Let that simmer. If Mike Tyson came on our show, and this was my question, hey, Mike, you've been in a lot of big fights. Does it bother you that Conor McGregor's Floyd Mayweather will be bigger than any fight you've ever been involved in? Go. Yeah. So, of course, you're going to hate on it. It's an ego thing. It's a fighter thing. He's the lion in the room. That's what's going on here. The tension this is getting, and obviously boxing, he's an old boxing head. What else is he going to say?
I thought more of Michael.
I like Mike. Like I said, I like Mike. He's not my favorite. Mm-hmm. I think he's great. I think what he's done in his post-career has been amazing. So, he had his live one-man comedy show, which I went to. I thought it was really good. He has his book. He's doing a podcast now. Obviously, everyone wants to do a podcast now. So, he's doing all this stuff. He's been in movies. It's Mike Tyson. He's probably the most recognized face ever in boxing, right? Especially the tattoo and his history and all that stuff.
So when he says, because I can't even imagine him saying, put his dumb ass in this situation, like about Conor McGregor. Do you think any of this is part of him trying to get attention for his new podcast? To make headlines?
God, there's a better way to do it.
But calling...
Maybe. Conor, maybe. Make Conor, like, he can't even get his name right. Yeah. Like, don't get me wrong, I get names wrong, but it's not because I'm trying to disrespect people. It's because I have a speech problem. You know what I'm saying? Like, I finally got Malignaggi right, Paulie Malignaggi. I just have to hear it a few times and I get it. But with him, he's just being disrespectful. I don't get the disrespect. Like, you'll never hear me disrespect Floyd Mayweather. You never hear me disrespect. I don't disrespect. I'll break or critique their fundamentals or their fighting ability, but you don't disrespect guys. Call them dumbass, stuff like that. What else you got, brother?
All right. This one goes
back
back
to your podcast, Mike.
This one goes back to Kelvin Gastelum. So Vitor Belfort, he lost to Kelvin Gastelum, but then Gastelum popped for marijuana.
So silly.
Belfort wants that fight back now. He wants a rematch with him.
I've lost all energy in my body. I've lost every cell in my body that had energy in it. He wants the rematch where he got starched in Brazil.
Got messed up.
Again, Vitor, I love you, man. Is there any way he can just go away? Can that happen at all? I don't want to see him fight again. You got starched in Brazil. This is his thing here. I was supposed to fight Derek Brunson last year again on September 9th. Twice UFC offered him this fight, and weeks later says he's not available. I don't know what that means. It means they don't want to fight you. After that, they offered me a beginner as opponent to fight in Canada. I don't know what is happening, but if Derek Brunson can't fight Kelvin, let's erase the no contest from our cards. I don't care about your fight results tonight. I'm ready to fight. Let's do it again.
He's pretty ballsy though, right? Because he wants this fight back.
Not really. I don't know.
It doesn't do it.
I lost all energy in my body. That bums me out. How about you fight? I don't know. No. How about no? No.
Let's move on from this one.
Fuck. God damn it.
Okay. Anderson Silva. According to John Jones, Anderson Silva called him on the phone, and then one of the things he said was a really, really messed up thing, saying that, here's a quote, "It was almost surprising to feel the level of fear I felt from Daniel."
This is Anderson Silva speaking to John Jones on the phone. All
so
right.
John's quoting him, and he goes, he said to me, "I'm an old man now, and Daniel had to take me down round after round because I felt fear coming off of him. This man has fear in his heart." Well,
that man, his fear slammed you around for 3 rounds. Like, all right, maybe he had fear to take a short notice fight because John couldn't get the fight done, so his fear was he didn't prepare for you. You're one of the greatest strikers in history. He has a lot on the line, way more than you. Your career's over. And Daniel, the belt's not on the line, but for DC, if he were to lose and play this stand-up striking game, which is the only way Anderson Silva could win, that's not fair. There's a big difference between fair and fighting smart. Now, did DC fight like he should have? No, and he actually lost a lot of fans. That's one of the reasons I think he gets so much hate, because he did play it so safe. As his manager or as a business mind, I go, you did exactly what you needed to do. You lost a lot of fans, but you didn't get knocked out. You have a win over Anderson Silva. It's not fair. He took the fight on short notice. He's fighting a guy he didn't prepare for. And if anything, you should fear wrestling Anderson. Like the only fear was you couldn't stop a takedown to save your goddamn life. Whose fault is that? If you would have stopped the takedown, then maybe you could have done what you want to do with him. But him calling John is weak. Okay, so John's been in there with him. Okay, cool, man. I don't get it. I don't get it. I do not get it. And for John, like, what's it do having an answer? Hey, this is Anderson calling John. Hey, man, when I was in there with DC, he threw me around like a rag doll for 3 rounds at UFC 200, but I think he was scared. Oh, fantastic, man. I'm glad you called, man. You're old as fuck. I appreciate it. Click. Who's going to be like, oh, dude, I feel great. After that encouraging call from Anderson Silva where he said he saw fear in DC's eyes, I'm ready to go. Like, what's it do even talking about this? All right. So a guy who basically, he didn't beat the brakes off him, but was in no trouble ever against Anderson Silva goes, I saw fear in his eyes. Yeah, because he took the fight on a day notice and threw you around like a rag doll? What are you talking about?
And he's throwing out Anderson Silva's private information to him. I don't know if he wanted to keep it private or not, but that kind of sounds...
Yeah, that's the other thing. Maybe, Anderson didn't want this to get out. And for what this does for John, I don't know. I mean, you've already fought him, John. You already beat him. You've been in there with him. And you guys stood toe-to-toe. I actually watched the fight. I watched the fight 3 times this week. I watched it last night before we came in here. And it wasn't as bad as I thought.
That's what
I talked a lot of shit. I always go, I've seen how the fight going. I'm really excited for the fight. I watched the fight and I thought, that first round, if DC doesn't throw that terrible, and DC, if you're listening, please don't kick like that ever again. But when he threw that kick, that Charlie Brown kick, and John Jones gets it and takes him down, like he takes him down off that kick, not off a real legit wrestling takedown. And then DC stands back up. Other than that, DC was winning the fight. I thought, I don't even know if I'd call that a takedown. There's a slip to that. DC and that pressure, close fight. It was a close fight. We'll get to it when I do the breakdown, but I watched that fight 3 times now. John, barely won that fight. See how John won that fight? A close fucking fight.
I got to watch it again, too.
You watch it again. Yeah. It's been on free, I think on Fox Sports, and you can get online, obviously, but if you have Fight Pass, watch that fight. You're like, Jesus Christ. If DC, we'll get into it when I break it down. I could go all day on that fight. All
right, this is just a sort of silly one. Wiz Khalifa, the rapper, is training MMA.
Why'd you say it like that? The rapper. One of them rappers. One of them gangster rappers.
Is he gangster?
Is he a gangster? No, he's not really gangster rap. He's more weed rap, isn't he?
But this guy, Wiz Khalifa, he's training MMA and jiu-jitsu, and then he was most recently trained with Kat Zingano, Luke Rockhold, and Jay Glazer.
He played for me. He's in the midst right there? Wait, when he says he's getting serious about MMA training, he just likes to train. He's not trying to fight.
No, I highly doubt he wants to fight, but let's check it out. Elbows.
Who's the guy going, ooh? Which one of your goons in your entourage is going, ooh, boy?
So that's Kat Zingano, right?
Yeah, it's Kat. Shout out to Kat. Love Kat.
I
love Jay Glazer, too. Jay's my boy, man. I love Kat. I love Jay. It's cool. He's training. Like I said, it's the cool thing to do. It's the cool kid in class right now. Everyone's doing it.
Well, that's that.
I mean, it's not like he's going to take a fight or some shit. Good for him getting in shape. Could he get any skinnier?
He's so skinny. I didn't know.
Skinny.
I didn't know that until I just saw this video. And
you've never seen how skinny he is?
I saw his legs with shorts. I think I saw him with pants before, so I couldn't tell how skinny he was.
He is so skinny.
Yeah,
imagine him and Amber Rose having sex. Her on top. It would just look like this, like she's fucking a ladder. It's just like a skinny ladder, black ladder, just this fat ass ladder. He's so skinny. It looks like that light post right there. He's so skinny. I'm jealous of him. I wish I was that skinny.
I don't think you want to be that
not
skinny.
That. You know what? Yeah, that's unhealthy skinny. But he was born like. There's people just. He's an ectomorph to the fucking fullest.
Yes.
An ecto to the full. He's just. He's basically he's bones and then just black skin over the bones. That's it. Bones, skin.
If you could be like, say his bone density or whatever it is,
yeah,
but then just be as buff as you can be, would that look good? Rip?
His legs are so skinny, you'd look like a popsicle. If you got big, like say you got on TRT or some shit, you look like a popsicle. You look like one of those cake pops you get from Starbucks, which I fucking love. They're only 100 calories too. 120, I think, if you ever had them. How they're so fresh, I have no idea. You buy that thing, it's moist. You ever had one?
No.
Try the pink pop.
Pink pop.
Yep.
At Starbucks.
It's delicious.
Maybe one of these days.
Well, maybe in Toronto, fucking on Thursday. Jen, how about that when we wake ass up at 6 in the morning?
Done deal.
All right, well, shout out to Jay Glazer, my girl Kat Zingano, and then
Luke Rockhold.
But listen, I'm a fan of Wiz Khalifa. I sound like my dad right there.
Wiz Khalifa.
Well, you sure it's Khalifa, not Khalifi?
Yeah, even I know.
I think it depends. Well, I've heard both.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Khalifa or Khalifi.
I heard Khalifa.
He makes some nice music.
Khalifa
he hasn't had a hit in a while, though, right?
I don't know any songs that except for that Fast and Furious one.
No, you know Black and Yellow, Black and Yellow.
Oh,
Black
that's
and
him.
Yellow.
All right, well, I'll give him.
That's
a
great fucking tune. For sure, make another one of those. What else you got?
Okay, The Rock.
He says, Gold's Gym right there, Venice, son.
Oh, you can tell.
I recognize that wall from anywhere.
Wow. Yeah, since he completed everything he wanted to do in the wrestling world, at that moment, his movies were sort of like tanking. The first ones that he was coming out with,
like he was in Scorpion King, then he was in Get Shorty.
There was one where he had like a son that was kidnapped, and he had to get him back or something like that.
That's a great movie.
Is it?
Oh, I enjoy it.
Okay.
I'm a fan of The Rock. I know what movie you're talking about, though. Yeah,
okay. Yeah. So he did a few movies, but I guess some of them weren't as successful as he wanted. And then he was actually considering doing MMA for a little bit. And of all people, he wanted Greg Jackson to train him. So he says here, yep, I considered UFC 10 years ago. My goal was Greg Jackson as my coach and 2 full years to train. Smartened up because I prefer my jaw intact. Do you believe him, first of all?
Yeah, I believe him.
Like he would actually do MMA.
I do. I think he played at a very high level, college football. University of Miami. He was a stud there. Actually played behind Warren Sapp, so it's a tough go.
Okay,
but he's a good athlete. Obviously, his work ethic is insane. Yeah. Who am I to say Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson couldn't do it? If anyone could do it, it's probably that guy. He's a freak physically. He's a good athlete, good work ethic. If he went with Greg Jackson and trained for 2 years. Heavyweight division is not as deep. It's not like he's a CM Punk with, the issue with CM Punk is there's no athletic background. His athletic background is Rough House Sundays. Like Saturdays with the Boys is his athletic background. That doesn't count. That doesn't work for me. So for The Rock, playing at a very high level, Division I football, University of Miami, phenomenal athlete. I think he had 1 year in the pros. It's very similar to Brock Lesnar, although Brock's is in wrestling, which obviously is a better pedigree. But for Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, yeah, especially at heavyweight. If you're going to jump into anything, him at heavyweight, under Greg Jackson's influence, that whole camp there, 2 years, he'd be a handful, man. He'd be tough to deal with.
He's just, for whatever reason, I just cannot see him doing that kind of sport, fighting, combat sports.
I mean, thank God he didn't, because he's the biggest movie star in the world now. Smart choice.
Literally the biggest movie star in the world.
Smart choice. Yeah, there's nothing for you there. Nothing to prove. Busiest guy in Hollywood. What else you got?
All right. The betting odds, not the betting odds, but the bets that are coming in early for the Conor McGregor-Mayweather fight. A lot of people are betting on McGregor. And then you'll see here, one of the MMA reporters, Darren Ravel, said a guy in Nevada placed $150,000 on Conor.
To win straight up?
Straight up. And another guy put $35,000 on Conor to win by KO.
That's a good bet. That's 6-1.
Mm-hmm. And right there.
Now, when I say good bet, I'm saying if you want to make money in the odds.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So $35,000 for him to knock him out, you're making serious money.
If you have the money, I would probably do it too if I had that much cash.
Listen, I tried betting Max Kellerman $100,000 that Conor's going to at least win one round or more. A few guys, DC wanted to take the bet. Mario Lopez. Really, I wanted to be more about MMA versus boxing, meaning I wanted an MMA analyst personality myself versus Max Kellerman, who's the face of boxing analyst, to have this bet. I'm not trying to bet regular people. I'm not. People try to bet me all the time on social media or when I see them out in public. That's not what I'm doing it for. I want to do it just so they know that how serious I am about it.
And Kellerman was the one that said, he's the one that put it out there.
He said he won't land a punch.
Yeah, won't land a punch. That's what, frustrated a lot of people.
That's what pissed me off.
How could you say that?
Yeah, that pissed me off. Yeah. You're just being disrespectful. Oh, this is the other thing, and I don't know if it's a current event. We brought up at the live show. I see on my social media, people not disrespectful, but Frank Mir's like, oh, Schaub's getting paid to say Conor McGregor's going to win the fight.
That one.
I don't know where that comes. I don't know who Frank Mir's sources are. I think for Frank, he's been doing a lot of boxing lately, and I think he thinks it's crazy that the things I say about Conor McGregor, to say I'm getting paid or to say that there's some sort of, I don't know what that is. As far as, is there some sort of like it's a game to me or something like that? Listen, I wish I was a good enough actor to say this and stick with it and make it up. Anyone who knows me knows I'm passionate about this. There's a reason why I get these gigs is because I'm passionate about it and I believe it, and I will argue with anyone. Max Kellerman, Jim Lampley, Paulie Malignaggi, any of those boys, any of them, I will argue to the death. I disagree with anything they say. I get paid from Showtime for my analyst work, if that's what you mean. I get paid to do the Fire and the Kid. I get paid to do the Big Brown Breakdown. I get paid to do all my comedy. So if in regards to that, yeah, I get paid for my personality. No, the UFC has not reached out to me. Dana White has not reached out to me. Conor's camp has not reached out to me. There's no this isn't an act. This isn't a Skip Bayless thing where someone's telling me what to say. All this is original thoughts and words that most of the shows you watch will regurgitate what I say. So Frank, I love Frank. Frank knows that. I just think for Frank, for him, he's like, what were you talking about? So there's that. But I love Frank, man. I don't think he was trying to be mean or say anything about it. Is this what is that?
This is where I saw it. So it would be just like YouTube descriptions about Frank. And then I didn't hear the whole, it was like a podcast that he did. And I'm pretty sure the stuff I heard, he didn't say like it was being a jerk or anything.
No, I think for Frank, and listen, I get how people, I don't hate on Frank for this at all. I see how Frank can go, what? Brendan says that and he believes it, and he probably watched the Showtime stuff. He goes, there's no way he believes that. He's also getting paid to say this. Just because Frank, in his heart of heart, and with his fight knowledge and his fighting ability and his boxing background and martial art background, he doesn't think Conor stands a chance. That's fine. That's cool, man. That's what you believe. I've no qualms or issues about it. But when you say I'm getting paid to do this, then you diminish what I'm doing, Frank.
Yeah,
we're brothers in this race, man. It's bullshit. I wouldn't be able to argue with fucking Marwanalo. I wouldn't be able to. I just wouldn't be able to do this. I'm going on Rich Eisen when we get back. Talking about it there. I was on a flight with Colin Coward. Talking about it there, and I get in my DMs, bro. Come on, you can't honestly. I have friends who text me, family, bro. Come on, give me your honest opinions. I'm like, what world are you living in, man? I wouldn't use this energy if I didn't truly, truly believe this, man. And watch when the fight happens. Watch when the fight happens.
But also when Glenn Holmes and Tony Jeffries was in here, they were super, super like, there's no way Conor's going to get any kind of he's not going to win for at all. But then when they sat down and heard your arguments and started talking to you, then they started opening up a little bit. So maybe if Frank just sat down with you, he probably.
And Frank and I love Frank. I love Richard Hunter. They do their podcast together. I think Phone Booth Fighting Podcast. Mm-hmm. Check it out if you haven't listened to it. But it's a great podcast. But I'd have both of them in here and argue with it. I have no issues doing that. And also, there's no issue between Frank and I if he believes that, that's fine. Hey, Frank, text me for God's sakes before you start talking stuff like that, buddy. What else you got?
All right, this is cool. Paul Daly is going to fight Lorenz Larkin at Bellator 183.
What?
San Jose, September 23rd.
Roy Nelson makes his debut on that card too.
Oh,
Bellator, holler at your boy. Maybe I'll do that one. That's a great fight. That's an amazing fight.
Yeah, I love this fight too.
Love that fight. Tough fight to pick. Really tough fight to pick. And Daly put typical Paul Daly. That's why people love him. Larkin is overrated, Daly told The Telegraph. I think that I gave Douglas Lima more of a fight when we fought. I brought it to him 100%. I don't feel like Larkin did that. Not to mention, I don't think Lima feared Larkin. There's argument for that, although he got dropped. As a result, he underperformed. I think even Roy McDonald feared me staying up. Roy destroyed you, Paul. I do love Paul, but still. Granted, he has the spear ground skills. No shit, sir. But he feared a stand-up exchange with me. Let's see what Larkin does in San Jose. Larkin's going to strike with him, for sure. Mm-hmm. That's a great fight.
Yeah, it's going to be an awesome striking match.
Hell
for
yeah.
Sure.
Wait, hold on. Let me see that. Bellator 183 card includes, Jesus. You got Benson Henderson versus the Pitbull. You got Roy Nelson versus Javi Ayala. Either way, I got Roy Nelson that. You got Paul Daly, Lorenz Larkin, then Pico.
Crap.
Telling you, man, you guys are hating on Pico because of that loss in Madison Square Garden, but Pico's the truth, man. He's making his second fight in his hometown. I shouldn't say hometown, but his backyard because he trains up there with AK and those boys. That's a great card, man. Ben Henderson, Roy Nelson, Paul Daly, Lorenz Larkin, Aaron Pico. What? Huge card.
Dope card.
And it's in September, so you won't have to deal with the aftermath, or I'm saying that giant whale, Conor versus Floyd. It's a great card. What else you got?
I like it. All right. According to Dennis26RT, Khabib was offered the fight with Ferguson at UFC 216, but turned it down because he wanted more time to prepare, and he wants him at 217.
I've lost all energy in my body.
Why?
Khabib turned down another fight? What the frick? What is going on here, man? Khabib tells Dennis26RT. Why would he tell Dennis26RT?
He's got to be an MMA reporter. Yeah, MMA journalist for RT Sports News.
He has 500 followers. I guess he's in Moscow. Well, he's Moscow-based. That makes sense. But,
okay.
All right. Well, I guess we want to blast your news to Dennis26RT. Shout out to at Dennis26RT. I'm not clowning you. I'm just saying it. I thought maybe we'd do it on I don't know, CNN or some shit. I don't know what you guys have within Moscow. Anyways, he was offered Ferguson for the interim title at UFC 216, but wanted more time to prepare. Said, let's do it at 217, which is in November.
It's the one with
Madison Square Garden?
Yes. That's all I know. MSG.
And aren't they trying to do Stipe Kane then too?
Yes, you're right. That's also the second thing about it.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
I don't mind that. Listen, I waited long enough. What's a couple more months? I'll take it at UFC 217. But Khabib, you got to fight, man. And this is my argument when people go, Conor versus Khabib in Russia. And, Dana says Conor versus Khabib in Russia. My issue with that fight and why I don't think that Conor, that's his number one choice. It's not that everyone's making it up or everyone's lying. Everyone chill out. The issue there is, why would you go on a world tour, do all this press for Khabib versus Conor, when Khabib here just isn't a big name? But the biggest challenge in all this, Khabib misses weight. He's missed weight before. He's had issues way before that. So you're going to put all this mark into that after this huge Floyd Mayweather fight, and that's your next fight, and you're going to risk it. Hopefully homeboy makes weight. Get the fuck out of my face with that fight. That ain't happening. Especially not next. That ain't happening next. Why would you risk all that? For a guy who's obviously having horrible issues making weight. And then let's say Conor's staying by his word, or that he says he's going to fight next in the UFC, and he's doing it end of December. So you're telling me Khabib's going to fight in November, then fight again in December? I know someone who well. His name's Nate Diaz in the trilogy for the biggest UFC fight of all time. Yeah, moving on.
How about this one, and then we get into the fights?
Okay.
This is Jiu-Jitsu. Roger Gracie finally retires from Jiu-Jitsu after he beat Marcus Buchecha.
I mean, the greatest Jiu-Jitsu competitor of all time, and him submitting Buchecha is ridiculous. Ridiculous. I've trained with both guys. Trained with Buchecha when I was getting ready for Metamoris. He's an absolute freak and a gi. Just a big, strong guy. He's actually I'd say he's more of an athlete than Roger Gracie. And I trained with Roger Gracie when he's getting ready for MMA, sparring with him. Obviously, we got a hold of you. Everyone was fucked. But, yeah, I mean, this just solidifies Roger Gracie as the greatest jiu-jitsu competitor of all time. Buchecha is a straight-up monster, super monster. So it's cool to see, man. It's cool to see Jiu-Jitsu still doing well, but obviously he's retiring. That sucks. It's Roger Gracie.
If he's retiring, that means he just doesn't want to compete anymore, right?
Yeah, it just doesn't mean he's going to compete at that level. Do those. For those of you, jiu-jitsu at this level, there's training camps. There's that involved.
That's what I was saying.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It's a monster, man. So for him, amazing jiu-jitsu academy. I think they're actually Hodger's based out of London. Yeah, they're in London, and he's a successful gym, has a family, so he's just not on tour, I should say, competing anymore. It's kind of cool. Should we get into some fights?
Let's do it. All right, UFC 214.
Good Lord, where do we start with this thing? I mean, we'll be here all night if I break down every big fight on this card. But you can ask me questions all the live shows for any fights I don't cover, or even the fights I cover. If you have different opinions, jump on that mic and let's get into it. But and that reminds me, shout out to Utah and Arizona. You guys fucking came out in force. Great questions in both shows. It was a great show. So appreciate you, Utah and Arizona. I will definitely be back. Utah for sure. Get more diverse. Let's see here. You got Bergman, Sean. All right. Sterling, Henan Barao is an amazing fight. That's on Fox prelims. You got Lamas versus Knight. If you guys remember Knight. Remember Knight?
Hell
Jason
yeah,
Knight.
dude.
He's kind of the trailer trash
Hick
Diaz
Diaz?
brother.
Hick
Hick
Diaz?
Diaz. Great fight. Tough fight for your boy Jason Knight there. Really tough fight. Let's start with Manawa, though. Let's start with the main card. Manawa versus your boy Vulcan. Who you got, Jen?
You know what? I'm on this hype train now. Ozdemir.
You got Ozdemir?
Yeah, I'm on the hype train now.
Yeah, listen, I think, God, if Ozdemir gets fucking touched, though, Manawa hits so goddamn hard.
But don't you think he might be taking him just a little lightly?
You think, especially after he murked that Misha in like 10 seconds? What? He murked him in 28 seconds. And then, see, the issue is, so he has one loss, and it's by submission neck crank. For sure don't get neck cranked at this day and age. But he has one loss. The thing that kind of scares me is the one guy he fought who's very similar with not as good striking, but just as explosive is OSP, and he won by split decision. Go to Jimmy Manawa for me. Do you have the odds up too?
Yeah, they're on the right here. Want to see it first, or?
No, I'm going with Jimmy Manawa.
All right, let's
I think
see.
he knocks him out. What's the odds?
Jimmy Manawa minus 170.
Yeah.
Against plus 150. It's not huge.
No, it's not huge. I'll take Jimmy Manawa.
Cool. I got Ozdemir.
Ooh, I'll take Jimmy Manawa by knockout first round.
Holy crap.
Yeah, he's going to murk him. I would listen. I like Jimmy Manawa, but I think it's just, to me, it's a hilarious story. Vulcan, that motherfucker's ranked number 5.
Came out of nowhere.
Boom, split decision to OSB, knocked out Homeboy because he ran straight forward with his chin up. Number 5. Shows you how weak light heavyweight is.
Yeah.
Jimmy Manawa, listen, the division kind of needs a guy like Jimmy Manawa, especially at light heavyweight, because so you got, anytime he's faced the upper echelon, he's got dealt with. He's just not at that level. His boxing might be, but as far as mixed martial arts, he's just not at that level. He's an amazing fighter. He's a fun fighter. Light heavyweight needs kind of a new contender, but against DC or Jones, it's not a fight. He doesn't. It's not even a fight. I don't want to watch it. Gustin murked him. Anthony Johnson fucking rocked his world. It shows you how weak the light heavyweight division is. But I'll take Jimmy Manawa via knockout.
Cool.
Oof.
Next one.
Oof.
Donald Cerrone, Robbie Lawler.
God, dog. This is a great fight. This again, with this fight, there's 2 fights that are tough to call on this card, and it's the X factor. And with Robbie Lawler, Donald Cerrone, Donald coming off that loss, right, to Jorge Masvidal in his hometown, which he shouldn't have been taking. We actually have Cowboy on the Fire and the Kid this week. So with Cowboy coming off that loss to Jorge Masvidal, and before that, he's on this fucking path, especially at 170. that Matt Brown fight, granted, we all see that head kick knockout. We're like, damn, he's ready to go. Then he jumps right into the next, next month. He fights less than 4 weeks later and fights Jorge Masvidal. That Matt Brown fight, he got rocked in that fight, man. He should not have been fighting Jorge. Not that Jorge couldn't beat him either way, but that wasn't the best Cowboy version we should have seen. Cowboy's had rest. He's taken time off, so now he's fighting Robbie Lawler. Anytime Cowboy has issues, and again, I'm going to get into it when he's on the show tomorrow, but anytime he has issues is when Cowboy likes to be the bully. He likes to go forward, his pace, his control. If he goes first and he's in the right frame of mind, he's going to eat you alive. When guys like Matt Brown, Dos Anjos, Anthony Pettis, Diaz, when Nate Diaz, when those guys draw a line in the sand, go, you're not gonna bully me, man. I'm drawing a sign right here. Come and get it. And they can box. It gives Cowboy some issues. Robbie Lawler's not really a guy who likes to go backwards either, and he's a guy who hits like a Mack truck. But again, remember, Robbie Lawler turned this fight down before not because he's scared. It's Robbie Lawler, for God's sakes. If you guys think he's scared, you're out your goddamn mind. He was going through a camp. He didn't know where exactly. You remember he left ATT. He was trying to figure things out. Obviously, I don't know where he ended up, but he figured things out. Maybe he's in a better frame of mind. In his last fight, he lost his belt and he got knocked out by Woodley. But before that, he's best 170 fight maybe ever against Roy McDonald. He has those fights with Johnny Hendricks, the Carlos Condit fight. So the huge X factor is which Robbie Lawler shows up.
And which Cerrone, right?
Which Cerrone, but I kind of know which Cerrone's going to. Yeah. But to me, it's more of which Woodley. Woodley is it the back nine of his career?
Lawler.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Robbie Lawler. Yeah, who you got, Jen?
I'm just gonna go with Lawler, but I really think Cowboy can win.
Okay, I'm gonna tell Cowboy that tomorrow when he comes in.
I'm
just kidding. I listen. It's again though that's the X factor, but I will take Don Cerrone via decision. What's the odds on that?
Let's check. Lawler -155, Cowboy +135.
It's a tough fight. What else you got?
Let's look.
That's when you know it's a good card.
Cyborg against Tonya Evinger, and they don't even have her actual picture on.
Damn, they just got a black avatar for a picture. Jesus, how do you not just upload a picture of her?
I don't know.
She's Invicta. Yeah. Anyways, listen, if Tonya Evinger came in with full armor like Game of Thrones in a full night outfit with a bazooka and a heat-seeking missile launcher, I would still take Chris Cyborg. If Tonya Evinger came in with 4 bodyguards who aren't John Jones, DC, Anderson Silva, and Brock Lesnar, I would still pick Tonya Evinger to lose. If Tonya Evinger came in with Bruce Lee and Mike Tyson in her corner, with Muhammad Ali in vintage form telling her what to do in her ear, I would still pick Chris Cyborg. This is the biggest mismatch on the card. Chris Cyborg will destroy this young girl. I shouldn't say young because she's a vet, but Chris Cyborg by any way she wants. And it's going to be a complete beatdown. And because it's a beatdown, she won't get performance of the night, unfortunately. You taking Tonya?
You know what? No, of course
It'd be
not.
hilarious if you did. She's tough. If you know anything about Tonya Evinger, she's tough as freaking nails. She's very tough. Tough gets you hurt when you fight Chris Cyborg. And I hope she's being compensated for it. Because remember, she was supposed to fight Megan Anderson, and Megan couldn't because of visa issues or whatever. And so Tonya stepped up to the plate. Enjoy that.
Tough girl.
If Tonya came in with 2 axes and a machete on her back, she still would be an underdog. If it was a tag team match, if it was Tonya Evinger versus Kylie Curran and freaking Misha Tate, I'll take Chris Cyborg. If they could tag each other off and jump in if one got tired, Chris Cyborg would knock all 3 of them out in a row. It's the biggest mismatch on the card. And that shows you how good Chris Cyborg is, because Tonya Evinger is a very skilled and tough veteran opponent. Doesn't matter. Moving on.
Tyron Woodley, Damian Maia.
Let me see the odds.
Minus 220 for Woodley, plus 180 for Maia.
God, if you're a betting man, you like a lot of these odds. I'm just looking up the whole card right now. Oh, wow. Brian Ortega's an underdog. Who the fuck has him an underdog? That's crazy. Wow. And they have Curran as an underdog. And Donald is an underdog. Damian Maia is an underdog. Sterling is a favorite. You got to like Henan Barao a little bit in that. Then you got DC as a big underdog. All right, go back to the card.
Dude,
I usually pick an underdog fight of the night. This is a tough one to pick because there's so many bets you could win money on if you like money. The huge X factor in this fight is obviously Woodley's a monster. Can I tell you something that bothers me about this? Last week Woodley was in New York doing press, a lot of press. He was on Sway in the Morning doing his rap, which I thought was very good. Shout out to Woodley on that. I think that's great. But that's your last week to train for a fight. It's one of your most critical weeks. And he's out doing press. That bothers me. You know what Damian Maia was doing?
Training,
doing jiu-jitsu, choking guys unconscious. Not doing press. That really bothers me. And the other thing is, Damian Maia, people forget how big he is. Remember, he manhandled Chael Sonnen, tossed Chael Sonnen on his head, and reverse triangle choked him. Inverted triangle choked him. From mount, then rolled, choked him out. And I'm talking Chael, Lance Armstrong, Sonnen. Not USADA Chael, like monster Chael. He tossed him around. Damian Maia is a natural 185er. He's a huge 70er. That's why he's having so much success. As an underdog, I like Maia, man. I like Maia. I think for 5 rounds, the big thing is going to be can Woodley, defend, choke, stuff like that. I don't know if Woodley has the same jiu-jitsu defense as a Masvidal. As a straight-up dog, I like Maia if I want to make money. I can see him winning. Mm-hmm. I see some things, obviously the stand-up game, Woodley's going to be, if he lands, it's game over.
Yeah.
I don't like that he's doing this press this close to the fight. That bothers me. That really bothers me. If you can avoid getting knocked out by Wonderboy Thompson for 2 fights in a row, you can definitely avoid getting knocked out by Damian Maia. The thing is, Damian Maia, I think, should be pulling guard, trying to reverse sweep him, stuff like that, and get his back, which I'm sure they're working on. Because you're not going to take him down naturally. Although he did take down Chael, and he's taking down tough guys, but he should be pulling guard, half guard, looking for a scissor sweep, elevator sweep, stuff like that, and to get his back. Can he do that for 5 rounds? I don't know. But he's figuring out, though. He's won 2, 4, 6, 7 fights in a row against the top of the top.
Yeah.
Look at all the guys he's beat. The top of the top. Very, very best in the world. He's beat them. I guess Dong Young Kim, let's see. That's the other thing about Damian Maia. He got knocked out at Nate Marquardt when he fell in love with his striking. He went to go kick and Nate checked and knocked him to fucking back to Brazil. Other than that, doesn't get knocked out. Tough guy to knock out. Chance of Woodley knocking out, not good. Again, how's his cardio for 5 rounds? More than likely not, Woodley should win this fight. Maia's not an easy guy to knock out. If he does go to the ground, Woodley's in trouble. As a dog, I like Maia. I'll take Maia in this. Who do you like, Jen?
I've always liked Maia.
Really?
Yeah.
All right.
Because he's just, like you said, he's so huge.
Here's the other thing about Maia. He's the only guy in the UFC, the only guy, where you know exactly what he's got to do to win, and you cannot stop him. And he's beat the best of the best in the world at 85 and 70. And to a T, there's no mystery. There's nothing, I want to take all that out. You know exactly what he wants to do, and he still gets it done. That's so impressive to me. It might be boring for the common person to watch something like that. It's so impressive. We know to a T what he's going to do, and you can't do shit about it. That's insane at this level, especially in 2017. Name another guy who's doing that. We know Wonder Boy's going to strike. He's not going to take you down, but he has left, right leg, elbows, jab, cross, hook. He has all these different ways to do it. Damian Maia goes in, forget all that. It's like it's 1993, Hoist Gracie. Still gets it done. 2017. Appreciate the hustle. Don't boo the man. Let's go to the main event.
Jon Jones, Daniel Cormier.
Casada, watch this fight over and over. I was like, I'm not that excited. Jon Jones kind of dismantled DC. Not really, young Chab. Not really. Go back and watch the fight. 19-1 versus 22-0. I don't count that Matt Hamill as a loss. I refuse to acknowledge that. So Jon Jones undefeated, never been beat. He's had a couple close fights, obviously with Gastelum. That DC fight was close. Not as close to the Gastelum fight, but a lot closer than I thought. Here's a few things to consider in this fight. I've been thinking a lot about this lately. Mm-hmm. Number one, ring rust. Jon Jones, when he fought OSP, there was some serious ring rust there. He won decision when he should have dismantled OSP. OSP is a tough customer. He has no business being there with Jon Jones. He just doesn't. Talent-wise, you're talking about the greatest of all time. He really shouldn't be in there with him. So you have ring rust is one. Two, remember, it's in California. So the rules. Jon typically fights like this. So to keep you at bay. Remember, there's a lot of eye pokes. There's been a lot of issues with eye pokes. Now you're going to get points taken away from you. You cannot have an open hand. You have open palm. I think you do a palm, but you cannot have his hands out like this. He's going to get warned once, and then you're going to take points. So he can't be doing that anymore. You got to take that into consideration. Yeah. The other big thing is with that ring rust, if we go based off his OSP fight, he's a very slow starter. He likes to feel the lights, get warmed up, get going. DC's not. Against Anthony Johnson, comes straight forward. Against Gastelum, comes straight forward. Against Jon Jones in that first round, he's coming, man. How's Jon? Jon's not going to have time to warm up. There's no warm up there. There's no ring rust. You're not able to feel things out because DC knows this and he's coming forward. I think DC wants to be in the clinch. He had more of a success the first time they fought in the clinch with his uppercut, stuff like that. The only reason that first takedown came is because he threw that shitty Charlie Brown kick. If you don't throw that, definitely give him the first round. And I think because Jon told him in those interviews, I'm going to take you down. You've never been taken down, I'm going to take you down. And he kind of did it with that kick. I think that got DC, and then you see DC kind of trying to get that back. It flushed him. It upset him. The wrestler in him, his ego kind of took over. He got away from his game plan, and Jon started to win a few rounds after that. So the whole thing with this is what Jon Jones shows up. When people go, he's been dedicated, man. He's in camp now. He's eating his veggies, meat and potatoes. He's ready to go. God, is that the best Jon? Or does Jon need to be wild? Does he need to be out with hookers till 2 a.m. and showing up the next day, maybe a little hungover, loosey-goosey, not living all the pressure of this fight and being this creative martial artist that he is? I don't know, man. There's great musicians, and one of the reasons they're great is because they're up to 3 a.m. doing drugs, living this wild life. If you force him to live in a suit and sit at a desk, are they as creative? Nope. I think Jon's one of those guys. When I hear he's being real disciplined, and I'm not saying I want him being on drugs, stuff like that. What I'm saying is I don't know if I want him in that same category as a Sage Northcutt who's sleeping, eating, drinking, praying at night, doing everything right. That's not Jon. He's not his creative best. OSP, there's a lot of pressure. Ring rust. He had a great camp. Looked like shit. Wasn't that creative in that fight? Very predictable. For DC, again, it's just 1 foot in, 1 foot in. What DC shows up? If DC were to get finished, I would not be surprised if he retires. What's left for DC? What are you going to hang around for Jimmy Manawa? Anthony Johnson's gone. You beat Gastelum. What the light heavyweight's just old. Go to heavyweight. Get a heavyweight, see how you do against Stipe in a super fight. Maybe take one fight against Stipe if they give you a title shot right away. Or, obviously you're never fighting Kane. Or you fight Verdum or something like that. But other than that, I wouldn't be surprised if he retired. He has this flourishing career with the UFC being a commentator. He's great at it. He's working all the pay-per-views. He's working UFC tonight. What's Jon doing when he's doing all that, Jen?
I don't know.
He's training.
Sometimes.
training or
Party.
Doing Jon Jones.
Yeah.
But what he's not doing is traveling, doing all that. He's doing what got him to the dance, which is whatever it is that got him to the dance. Dick pills or being out 2 a.m. Either way, he's doing what made him world champion. He's not commentating. He's not traveling around the world. He's not doing all that stuff. That plays a factor, man. So with DC, what DC shows up? The odds. There's a part of me where because let's say John has ring rust, it's going to take him 2 to 3 rounds to get going. Mm-hmm. DC doesn't need to get going. With his fighting style, his chin, his embrace the grind kind of mentality, I can see DC getting up 2 rounds to none. That third round's going to be key. John's going to make some adjustments in the third round, and then 4th and 5th, I see John winning. That third round is this fight. Granted, if no one gets TKO'd or finished, which I don't think is going to happen. Look at all John's last fights. Look at DC's last few fights. Mm-hmm. Third round's going to be the difference maker. First 2 rounds, I think DC wins with his pace, tenacity, pressure, octagon control, clinch, ring rust of John. So you're basically betting on that third round. Because I think what happens in that third round will predict what 4th and 5th round, which typically sways towards John Jones, his fighting style.
So you got Jones for sure.
I don't know. I'm on the fence. I have that third round being the deciding factor. I think DC comes out with his pace, again, with his fighting style, and banking on John having ring rust, which is real, which we saw in the OSP fight. He hasn't fought in a long time. There's a lot of pressure on him. There's a lot of hostility between the two. They hate each other. John's in this weird frame of mind. Those first 2 rounds will be tough for John. Doesn't get finished, loses those first 2 rounds. That's basing off the version of DC that fought John that first time. If DC comes with the Anthony Johnson with the love handles and the unfocused, then it's a toss up. Then John could win the 1 round. Maybe DC edges out the second round. Then John takes over 3, 4, and 5, and you don't have a close fight. DC in shape, ready to go, which he is because this is the biggest rival in the sport right now. I think DC wins the first 2 rounds. Third one, depend on John's adjustments and his feeling out process. That third round's the big question mark here. 4th and 5th, I bet John wins. If I'm a betting man, at a plus 235, I'm leaning towards DC in this fight, which is insane to say. But everything that's going on with John, these are tough fucking fights to call, man. Who do you got?
I got DC. I don't know why, like usual. I just have DC.
You ride or die with your faves, huh?
I don't even... You know how he was? He wasn't like in the best shape against Rumble.
Yeah, with his glove handles.
And the whole towel thing that happened.
The other thing you got to remember, too, California don't play that game.
Yeah.
In New York, since it was a title fight, he did that. And remember, he missed weight and then let him come back. You know, in California, you get 1 shot. Then it's out. There's no towel. There will be no towel gate. California does not, but California's strict as fuck. The other guys cut Chael. The other guys do not play, homie. They do not want to mess around in California. Probably the strictest there is.
And if that happens, that screws John too, because
no title on that. Yeah, it's all gone. He'll make DC make weight.
But yeah, he wasn't. He looked like crap. Remember,
DC looked like pure shit. I think I text you.
But then afterwards,
got a muffin top.
Yeah, afterwards I was like, wow, I was super impressed about how he handled Rumble. So I don't know.
Let's talk about Rumble who shit his pants, didn't want to fight in there, started wrestling DC for God's sakes.
But yeah, the layoff, all that stuff. I don't know. That's why I take DC.
Talking about, to me, John Jones pound for pound greatest of all time.
Yeah.
Long layoff though. First 2 rounds, I don't think if I'm DC, I go, you push the pace, you get in his face, embrace the grind. Let's get up 2 rounds. That third round's gonna be a bitch. Let's try and win that. 4 and 5, we can get our rest in, just don't get finished. And you win 3 rounds of 2.
It's fun, right? Because it's like...
It's such a fucking tough pick. But yeah, because what Jones shows up, which DC shows up. But as a huge underdog, I can see DC winning. Those first 2 rounds, I see him getting out top. Third round's a huge question mark. 4 or 5, just don't get finished. You win the fight 3-2. I hate making this pick, but god damn it, obviously I have to give you guys a pick. God, so much is on the line for John Jones in there.
For both, I think.
Is there for DC?
Because I think...
It validates him if he wins?
Yes. He this entire time, I feel like he himself feels like, crap, I'm really not the champion. He's convincing himself that he is, but he knows deep inside that he's really not until he beats John.
Correct.
So I think this is huge for both of them. This is where John turns his life around, you know?
Does he?
Well, you know what I mean, right?
Yeah, does he?
But no.
Whoo!
That's what makes this so much fun.
It does. Again, if I'm a better man, I go DC. But the smart choice would be John Jones. My analysis on it is, though, DC in pure DC form gets out 2 rounds. That third round's huge X factor. 4 or 5, John wins. That third round's gonna be everything. Make your decision from there. Boom. Amazing card. UFC 214 this Saturday. The Chicago fight. The Chicago live show with me will end, I promise you, before this card starts. I would not do that to you guys. Well, should we jump into some Paulie Malignaggi? Huh?
Sure.
Ladies and gentlemen, one of my boys, one of the faces of Showtime Boxing, and he's part of the Conor McGregor camp now. Enjoy this little chit-chat with my friend, my brother from another mother, ladies and gentlemen, Paulie Malignaggi. Ladies and gentlemen, he is back. The busiest man in show business who works for Showtime, Paulie Malignaggi. How about that, Paulie?
Brendan, what's going on, man? How's it going?
What's up, brother? You're so damn busy, man. You're literally all over.
Yeah, man. It's a busy stretch for me. You know what it is? Sometimes I go through these busy stretches, and then sometimes I have a little bit of time to chill. Well, right now, it's been a little bit of a busy stretch, but for the most part, I enjoy it. So when you're enjoying what you do, it's not as bad, even if you're working.
True. Where are you at right now? Because you were in Vegas working with Conor, correct? And then right now you're where?
I flew back to New York yesterday because I have to work the Broner-Garcia fight this weekend. So we had to fly back. They had to fly me back yesterday. And just now, actually, I had to film a little set for Showtime with Pat Miletich. We did a little bit of a set discussing the Floyd and Conor fight. So between Floyd and Conor and Broner-Garcia this week is also a busy week.
Jeez, man. Have you met Pat Miletich before?
I hadn't met him before, but we hit it off today. Real cool guy. Obviously, the UFC Hall of Famer, and I love him. We have a lot in common and whatnot, and we had a good discussion.
Really good guy. Obviously, I don't want to give away whatever you guys did on the show, but is he giving Conor a chance?
Yeah. I mean, everybody in the mixed martial arts world, especially, is giving Conor a little bit of a chance. I think you'd be dumb to just not write Conor off totally. You know what I'm saying? I think for the most part, everybody understands Floyd is the favorite, but to write off a guy like Conor completely, I don't think it's feasible or even makes any sense. You know, so obviously a guy like even Pat, he's going to favor Floyd, but of course, we understand that Conor has his chances, and it's a matter of him executing those chances. Let's
just get right into it too, Paulie. Obviously, I want you here to talk about, joining Conor's camp and help him out, and then have to break down Garcia Broner. For those of you that don't know boxing, on Showtime this weekend, it's Garcia versus Broner. It is one hell of a fight. So obviously break that down. But I got to jump right into it. You were in Vegas with Conor. You're kind of the only guy who, has experienced him firsthand as far as being a straight up boxer, especially at your world-class level. So just give me an overall, how'd it go? How was it going into there? Did you have any nerves, Paulie? Was it what you expected?
I said that I had nerves. I've sparred thousands of rounds in my life, and with a lot of good fighters. So it wasn't really more about nerves. I was excited, just to be part of something new, something cool, something that's being talked about right now. That's always an excitement value to that. I spent a few days there. We boxed Thursday, and the plan was for me to box Thursday, and I thought Saturday, but Saturday they passed on me. So I think we're gonna probably get back to work when I get back to Vegas next week. So thus far, we've only boxed just for one day on Thursday.
And then, where's this happening at?
Well, they've been boxing at the UFC headquarters. We've been working over at the UFC headquarters, which is, a bit more private. Obviously it's a gated community, as you might know.
Yep.
And not just anybody can walk in. So that's kind of the way it's been. And, obviously that's where you want it to be. It's only certain people allowed into the gym to see the workout, to watch the workouts and whatnot. And obviously, I'm sure.
And what's the vibe, Paulie? What's the vibe of the camp? Is it good, or were they looking at you like fresh meat, or were they open minded? How was the vibe of the whole?
I mean, listen, when you're in there sparring, I think everybody's meat. I don't think people. I think people have this big misunderstanding about sparring, that it's like playing patty cake. I think all sparring is everybody's meat. And you're looking to work and work hard. Because the only way you're going to get your mind into a place where it needs to be for fight night, you know, and obviously your skills as well. So obviously the sparring was good work. It was 8 rounds, hard work. But you know, overall, everybody's cool. You know, and I'm getting to know everybody out there. You know, I'm sure I'll get to know everybody out there a little bit better. You know, obviously Conor is very busy. His team is very busy. I'm staying over with the sparring partners and whatnot. And, you know, just making some new friendships and chilling out. And, you know, camp is not supposed to be super exciting. There's not much going on aside from training. But, of course, you know, there's a motivating factor to it. And, you know, it feels good to be around motivated people.
And who are the other guys in the camp? Like, obviously, you're by far the biggest name as far as boxing is concerned.
Yeah, I mean, sparring partners, you know, that's another thing I don't think people realize is sparring partners do not, they don't usually come in as big names. I mean, people are sitting there kind of debating on whether how to use me as a sparring partner or whether who to use as a sparring partner. You can't just go get big names as sparring partners.
No.
They don't do that. You know, they have their own time, their own agenda, and their own schedule. They don't just, you know, they don't do the sparring partner thing. You know, I just happen to have a little bit more time now that I'm not fighting. You know. But the other sparring partners are Deshaun Johnson, who's a good fighter. He's getting there with a lot of different guys. You know, he gets in there, makes you work, and he's been giving Conor some good work. And an amateur named Kieran Bradley, who's from Ireland, who's also a good little young fighter, and you know, he's been doing well as well. Also, he has Artem. This guy Artem, who I think is an MMA fighter. UFC fighter.
Artem Lobov. Right?
Yeah, he's Conor's friend. Artem usually comes in at the end for some boxing and whatnot. So, and I'm sure, and I heard they were going to bring in some other guys this week when I was leaving, and I'm supposed to fly back in Monday. So, you know, definitely a little variation of a lot of different work, and you know, they're working on their specific things, and you know, trying to get Conor to be the best he can be.
I mean, obviously, you can't give away too many details because you're involved in his camp, and I completely understand that, Paulie. But when you that first round sparring with Conor, was there anything that was surprising, underwhelming? Is there anything that you were like, man, he needs to be careful of this, or he needs to keep doing? Was there certain, because you've seen it all, man. You've seen it all. You're a 2-time world champion. So when you got in there, like, man, this is awesome, or did you see some glaring holes?
You know, there's holes there, but there's also a method to what he's doing. You know, it can come off as a bit strange, but you know, he knows what he knows what he wants to do and how he wants to do it. That's what I've been telling people. It's kind of, I can't get into more details than that, but there's a method to what he's doing, you know. Now, is it going to be effective completely? I don't know how effective it's going to be because that's up to him. But I think in some ways it can be effective. He can make it work for him. It's just the consistency to make it work and how long it can work for him. That's the thing, you know. And I'm sure he's going to continue to keep working more and more in camp and continue to get better. And you know, we'll continue to work and we'll continue to spar and hopefully, you know, come along the right way. And
you said you sparred 8 rounds?
Yeah, we did 8 rounds. You know, one thing, Conor has his people in the gym and it's very private. Me and Conor did 8 rounds that first night on Thursday. I was under the assumption we were going to go again Saturday, especially that I was leaving on Monday. I was ready to go Saturday, but they didn't work on me Saturday. So, you know, probably maybe they'll reassess the work and get themselves ready for next week. And I'm sure, I have no doubt that they'll give me plenty of work when I get back there.
And so you sparred 8 rounds. You obviously gave them that work there. And then after, do you stay around and do you watch them spar those other guys and maybe give them some coaching or things you see here and there that could really help them come fight night?
I don't discuss tactics unless I'm asked. You know, Conor has a great team around him. He has a very prepared team around him, and they know him very well. You know, so I don't overstep my boundaries. You know, I don't. Like on Saturday, I didn't box. You know, he boxed the other guys, and you know, I was in there, and you know, I don't give my 2 cents unless I'm asked. You know, if I'm not asked, I don't overstep my boundaries. It's not my place. You know, I don't want to be disrespectful to anybody. So I seen the boxing down Saturday with Bradley and with Johnson. And, you know, I kind of just sat back and, you know, just waited my turn to see, you know, I helped out the 2 sparring partners in the corner and whatnot. I did my own workout and, you know, we'll see. We'll wait for my turn when I get back.
Man, I hope they use you as a mind too, you know?
Yeah, it's up to them. You know, I think they have a method to what they're doing, you know.
Hopefully.
Like I said, I don't overstep my boundaries. I think it's disrespectful to do that, and I would never do that. And I would never disrespect his coaches like that.
Sure.
So if I'm asked anything, then I would obviously, you know, do my best to be helpful. But I only try to do what I'm asked. And right now, I've just been asked to spar the one day, and we'll see if we'll see how often I get asked to spar when I get back.
Who's kind of the main guy directing Conor then? Because his coach, John Kavanagh, is, he's more of a grappling MMA coach. Who's kind of the voice for him as far as boxing goes?
I don't know, because he's got a bunch of guys over on his side of the ring. The thing with the gym is only his people are allowed in there. So I'm not sure who's a trainer, who's a photographer, who's a bodyguard, who's a hanger-on. I'm not quite sure what the difference is. I mean, who's a doctor? He's got all that on his side of the ring. So I'm not sure what and who's who. But he's got guys, giving him voices and giving him direction, and he's got his side of the team. And they're doing what they have to do.
And I heard the rumor around the water cooler is there's a lot of trash talk going on between you two, because you can talk some trash, Paulie, and then obviously Conor, that's his thing.
Well, yeah, I was a big trash talker when I was younger.
I know.
As you get older, you got to mellow it out. But we started that first round, and Conor got right on the talking. I mean, literally within a second, he was talking trash right away. So obviously they started going back and forth, and I'm sure people saw the hands behind the back picture, online that was posted by Conor.
Yeah.
The ironic thing about the hands behind the back picture was that I did it first. I actually started the hands behind the back to him, and then we started doing it back and forth to each other. So
that's hilarious.
With Conor's photographers being the only ones allowed in the gym, obviously a picture that's going to be put online is going to favor Conor.
Of course, Paulie,
we were both having some fun, and we were both having it was obviously good work, serious work, but it was also, we were both having some fun with the trash talking as well, and the histrionics and snowboarding.
And then after you sparred the 8 rounds, was there more, not that he didn't respect you before, obviously everyone respects Paulie Malignaggi, for God's sakes, but was there more of a respect thing? Like, were you guys boys? Did he loosen up? Did you loosen up around him? Do you know how it is? Because I've been in new gyms, and when you're sparring, it's always kind of this weird kind of alpha thing going on. It's not an ego thing. It's more just you don't know each other, and then afterwards, you especially after you fight it out, it's all good.
Yeah. I kind of just vibe off of what people give me. Yep. I don't try to overstep my boundaries at all. So, if you give me more, I'll give you more. If you don't, I don't. So he came up to me afterwards, and he, thanked me for the work, and he told me to appreciate it if I would stay for the rest of the camp, and help him out. And I said, yeah, that's the plan. I have to leave this coming week for Bruno Garcia, but the plan is for me to work with you the rest of the camp. So we'll get it done. And that was it. It was cordial. We didn't talk much more than that. We talked a little bit about Bruno Garcia. He was giving me a couple of his inputs and whatnot on Bruno Garcia. He shocked so many people in Garcia because he thought Bruno would win.
Oh wow! And
we talked a little bit about that, but it wasn't much else other than that. Conor's got to keep busy. He's got to keep focused. I don't expect him to come hanging out and come chill with everybody either.
Yep. And we'll move on after of Conor after this. But while you guys were sparring, and obviously, in this fight game, you don't kiss and tell, especially when you're in another man's camp. But was there big shots landed, Paulie? Give me something here. You've been in there. You're talking Cotto, everyone. I can go through the whole who's who that you've beat, the guys you've lost to. It's ridiculous. So just give me a little something here, Paulie.
We both landed some shots. Obviously, people saw some marks on my face. You got to keep in mind, I always wear the open face headgear. I wear the thinnest headgear allowed.
Like a gentleman. Like a goddamn gentleman, you do.
Because I like, not because I like to get marked up, because I really don't like to get marked up, obviously. I do that because I like to have as open a face as possible and be able to see things, And of course, that's going to give me less protection from the punch, So obviously people saw some of the marks on my face. And also, I haven't sparred a month. So when I don't spar a month, my face will mark up a little easier.
For sure.
Having said that, shots landed for both sides, actually. It was good work. Like I said, in 8 rounds, you're not going to be in the shot without getting wet. A couple of good shots landed from both of us. It was a little bit awkward work at times, a little bit rough at times, a little bit dirty at times. But it was work, and it was good work. What do you want to know if he hits hard? He's not a weak puncher. I'll say that. People are dying for me to say like, oh, he hits hard. Oh, this big left hand. Listen, if Conor hits
timing.
If Conor hits you, you're gonna feel it. You know what I'm saying,
Yeah.
Brendan? He's a grown man, and I'd say he's an above average puncher. You know what I mean? Like especially I could feel with the 16-ounce gloves that if he lands a shot with 10-ounce gloves, it'll probably get your attention.
Yeah.
Is it oh my God power? No, I mean, oh my God power is very rare. You know what I mean, Brendan?
Yeah, it's like a Mike Tyson.
Like,
yeah.
Yeah, like, oh my God power is like, I've sparred thousands of rounds in my life. I've sparred probably hundreds of people in my life. People that I sparred, because I can't give you the people that I fought, because I fought them with 8-ounce gloves.
Yeah.
But I had the people that I sparred that had oh my God power. You know, it's probably only a handful, but you know, there's guys that, you know, but Conor has respectable power, and if Conor hits you clean and he's wearing smaller gloves, odds are he's going to get your attention or rock you or even drop you. You know what I'm saying? I'll say.
I think it's with Conor, you know, obviously he has power, but I think it's more of his timing. It's that surprise factor. It's the timing that gets guys in a lot of trouble. Yeah,
and also, you know, I mean, it's just different in general. Like I'll give you an example. Like for me, the strongest puncher I fought, I sparred with was Amir Imam. You know, I've been sparring with him over the past year in Miami. My training camps in Miami. I mean, if anybody's seen Amir Imam fight, he's got like highlight reel type of knockouts. You know what I'm saying? So, and honestly, with 16-ounce gloves, I've been hit with right hand for Amir Imam. Luckily, I've never been down from him, but I've been hit with right hand for Amir Imam where I shook from my brain all the way to the bottom of my feet. You know what I'm saying? Where I was, whoa. You know what I mean? I'd take a shot, and it's like, whoa.
Can't
you know
take too many of those.
Like you up, you know, where you have to check if you're standing and if you're good. You know what I'm saying? Like that kind of power. You know, it's like, you know, and it's sharp right-handed kind of power. You know, like, and you know, that's the kind of power I was assuming to see, because everybody wants to give me this, this big shot from God. Listen, Conor doesn't have that kind of power, but Conor's got, you know, power that if it lands with a small glove. Listen, but you're probably going down. You know what I mean? You're probably going to get rocked. So, you know, it's respectable power. It's respectable pop. And that's really all you need. You know, the key is not so much the respectable power, respectable pop. The key is being able to land it cleanly. Because if you're able to land it cleanly, Conor will get your attention and Conor will do the damage. He's got to be able to land it cleanly. That's the trick here.
Yeah, correct. Let me ask you this, Paulie. Out of all the fights you've had against all these world-class boxers, who was the hardest hitter?
Out of all the fights I had,
not sparring.
You're wearing 8-ounce gloves. In fights, the hardest puncher was Miguel Cotto. The hardest hitter in sparring was probably Amir Imam, the guy I just described to you. You know,
especially when you fought Miguel Cotto.
Yeah, well, Cotto I fought with 8-ounce gloves. It's different, so I don't want to compare with Conor sparring with 16-ounce gloves. But Imam, who I was sparring, was wearing also 16-ounce gloves, and I sparred him probably 100 rounds over the course of a year in Miami. You know what I'm saying? So you know, we did plenty of great rounds, and you know, he does have consistent right-handed power, you know, with sparring gloves, you know, and he's actually a smaller guy than Conor. So what I'm saying is, the oh my God power is a rare thing. You know what I'm saying? But you don't just because you don't have oh my God power doesn't mean you don't hit hard enough to get respect.
Oh, I agree with you, Paulie.
Trust me, Conor hits hard enough to get respect.
It's
a matter of landing cleanly, wearing those smaller gloves. And he'll get his respect, trust me.
100%. Well, let's move on to the reason why you're in frickin' Brooklyn and why you're flying all over the places. To me, one of the greatest fights, especially of this year in boxing, you got Mikey Garcia versus your boy Broner, and you fought Broner. Is he? I mean, obviously, the story of this whole fight, they're so different. It's not even funny. If the listeners, if you haven't looked into Mikey Garcia, who's ridiculous multi-time world champion, and then obviously Adrian Broner, they come from completely different worlds. You got Mikey Garcia was going to go into law enforcement. He has this crazy pedigree. Then you got Broner, who, you know, runs from law enforcement, doesn't come from a crazy pedigree. And then you got these dynamic personalities. One guy's humble, one guy's super outlandish. To me, it's such an interesting fight. And I'm nervous already for the fight, Paulie. I'm nervous because there's so much on the line for both guys. For Mikey, it's like he took 2.5 years off, right? And he's coming up a weight class. Then you got Broner, where, you know, he's really only lost 2 major fights. And if he loses this one, where does he go? And Mikey needs this win to validate what he's been doing. Broner needs this fight on his resume. It stresses me out, man. Yeah,
I'm sure. The worst they don't feel the stress. I'm sure they're feeling the stress. You know, Mikey's been on a nice comeback since his 2.5-year layoff after the contract dispute he had with Top Rank. He's had some nice wins. And he's had a highlight reel knockout he's coming off of in his last fight against a very tough, durable guy in Dejan Zaltichinin, you know. So Mikey's power is real. Mikey's fundamental boxing is real. these guys are polar opposites in every way. They're polar opposites both as personalities, as you mentioned, because one guy is a dynamic personality, in-your-face kind of personality. He's loud, very, very vociferous. And the other guy's a very humble guy, family-oriented guy, a very simple guy, lives on a farm. He bought a farm. He's got his family. He's chilling. He likes that chill life, you know? So personality-wise, they're very much opposites. Inside the ring, they're very much opposites in style. They're the same in that they're very successful inside the ring. That's one thing that they're the same. But the way they've achieved their success inside the ring is also an opposite way. Broner does it in a very athletic, explosive style manner. Shoulder rolls and athletic moves and whatnot. Mikey Garcia is more fundamentally sound, hands high guard, proper boxing, proper balance, explosive power on the shots that he lands because of his proper fundamentals. He's got heavy hands. So, both guys are here because of their explosive power, their incredible ability inside the ring, but they're opposites in style, both inside the ring and outside the ring.
I feel like with Broner, he's kind of like, he's really one of the first, it's fair to say, especially if you look at the ratings and the draw he brings in, Adrian Broner, he's kind of one of the first kind of social media, outlandish, camera everywhere. He kind of took a page out of Floyd Mayweather's book, but then even brought it even more to the 18 to 36 demographic, where he's a beast on social media, man. And as much as people love Adrian Broner, they also hate him, which you want, because that's ratings. And
of course.
It's very interesting to me, man.
Yeah, he is. He knows how to draw attention to himself. Sometimes not in the most positive. He managed to get himself arrested a few times, spend some time in jail or whatnot. So he's got to figure out a way to keep his head on straight and get those ratings in a way where he can stay out of trouble. But yeah, he does bring the 18 to 36 demographic in. He's got that cool young swag about him.
Yeah.
He's got that world star hip hop look to him, you know what I'm saying? Where he's always about, always about the camera, and he's always about the show and whatnot. Hey man, it brings ratings. Garcia brings ratings in different ways. Garcia just brings ratings in straight up knockouts. I mean, he blows you away. Broner's not a light puncher. Broner's had some explosive knockouts, especially at the lower weight classes. But Garcia literally puts you to sleep. Like, you're out before you hit the ground, as he just found out in the last fight against Mikey. Here's where now you put the styles together. Broner is undefeated at 140 pounds. It's probably been his most effective weight thus far. Mikey Garcia has been effective every way he's fought, but he's never been as high as 140 pounds. And this is the weight they're fighting at Saturday night. So it's interesting, again.
And there's no belt on the line. I feel like for Mikey Garcia, unless you're a hardcore fan, I mean, obviously, I think the general boxing fans and media obviously know who Mikey Garcia is, but overall, he's not like this huge polarizing figure that demands these ratings. So I feel for Mikey Garcia, who's been off for 2.5 years because of his contract disputes with Top Rank, correct?
Top Rank, yeah. Top Rank,
So he's been gone for 2.5 years. When you're gone for 2.5 years, in our sport in MMA, John Jones was out for a while. It's what have you done for me lately? People forget about you, man. So Mikey Garcia comes back. His last fight, knockout of the year candidate already. I mean, it was a ridiculous knockout. And then, with Broner, I just feel like, I looked at the odds and Broner started out, I think, a 5-1 underdog. Man, there's something about it. I don't know what it is that I'm drawn to taking Broner in this fight. Is that fair, Paulie?
Yeah, well, listen. I don't think you'd be wrong to take either guy. Both guys have shown the dynamics inside the ring, the different wrinkles inside the ring to have the ability to kind of win fights.
Mm-hmm.
I have a hard time picking anybody with a straight face. I have a hard time picking anybody in this fight and saying, okay, I feel strongly about this guy. I feel like Mikey's a more consistent guy, so I want to favor him. But Mikey's never shown me anything at this weight. He's never fought at this weight. Adrian has shown me he's never lost at this weight. Now, you talk about the fact that there's no title on the line, and then there should be a title on the line. One thing about this weight, Brendan, is Adrian Broner had a world title. He's lost it on the scale at his weight. That's the only reason there's no title on the line here, is Adrian Broner lost the world title at this weight on the scales a little over a year ago. So that world title has since left Adrian Broner. He fought at whatever way he wanted to fight at. But now he's got to fight 140 pounds. But, of course, having lost the title on the scale, there's no title on the line.
I mean, and you obviously have experience when you're fighting Broner, and I think maybe it was after the fight, I saw an interview you did where you said he's one of the toughest guys to hit.
Yeah. Yeah, Broner is a very slippery style. You know, that's probably what makes him effective. He wasn't the strongest guy I fought punching power-wise, but I don't think his best punching weight is at 147 pounds, honestly. I think that was a little bit above where he belongs at. You know, I thought when he was at 130 pounds, 135 pounds, he was destroying guys. You know, at 140 pounds, he's also been undefeated. You know, at 147 pounds, he started to show some susceptibilities. A lot of people thought he lost the fight against me, which I thought he lost as well. He won a split decision. Then he got beat by Maidana. He got beat by Porter at 147. But anything south of 147, Broner has looked pretty dominant, you know, and he looked really good. So you'd be hard-pressed to pick with a straight face and say, you know what, Broner can't win this fight. You'd be hard-pressed to say that. It's very difficult to say that. But you look at the explosiveness of Garcia and what he's done thus far, and it's hard to pick against Mike Garcia either. I think the trick in this fight, and that is the wild card, is how is Mike at 140 pounds? We know how Broner is at 140 pounds. And better at 140 than he is at 147. But how is Mike at 140 pounds? Because he's never climbed this high. Is he going to keep his power? Is he going to be carrying around too much weight? Is he going to be a little soft around the gut? We don't know. Mikey's a good sized guy for a lightweight. You know, I was next to him at one of the Showtime broadcasts earlier this year. He's not a little guy. You know what I'm saying? So I think he will fill in well at 140 pounds. He's not a naturally smaller guy, but you know, he's still a guy who hasn't fought at this point. So we'll see how it'll affect him. Also, you're working the fight, Paulie, so I'm not going to ask you to give a prediction, but I will ask you where does each fighter go after this? Let's say Garcia were to win this. Where's Mikey go from here? Because I bet he would go back down. I don't think he stays at 140. No, I don't think Mikey stays at 140 either. I think he goes back down, and you know, he's got a piece of world title at 135 pounds. So I think he probably keeps that and maybe defends it again. For Broner, I think this fight's important. Here's why. Broner is looked at as the next superstar in boxing, the possible next superstar in boxing. That luster has kind of worn off, but hasn't totally worn off. There comes a point in your career where the way you are viewed, perceived, eventually stops being as the star. Yep. This is the make or break fight for Broner. Is he going to continue to be looked at as a star? Or after this fight, if he loses it, is he just going to be looked at as a good fighter who can make money, but no longer the star? You know, I remember there was a point in my career where that happened. It was about the Ricky Hatton fight, about the Juan Diaz fight, where I realized the perception of my career was no longer going to be this guy's a star. It was more going to be this guy's a pretty good fighter. He can win, but we're looking for other people to be stars. Yep. Right now, we're still looking at Broner to be a star. If he loses Saturday night, I think he loses a star shine off him. He can still make money. He can still do well. But he may lose that shine off him. Mikey Garcia, on the other hand, is also in kind of a similar position because of the layoff he's had, and he's just started coming back and he's on a roll. People know his reputation. He's got the star potential, but he doesn't have the star personality. But the star potential, the star power knockout, he can continue to climb the ladder to stardom. But if he loses Saturday night, now you're going to see all the time that he lost with the contract dispute. Then he takes this big loss in a major fight. People are going to look at him as well and say, this is a good fighter. But is he the guy that can carry the sport? We don't know. So I think there's so much on the line Saturday night that's subliminal. Besides the win and a loss between two great fighters, there's so much subliminal stuff on the line here. And I think both guys understand that, and they know that, and they're cognizant of that. And that's why I think this fight is so good, because not only are these guys both such good fighters, but they know what's on the line Saturday night. It's so good, and you've stressed me out more breaking that down. I feel like with Mikey Garcia, you know, there's a reason why he's ranked in the pound-for-pound rankings, and he's kind of the only guy in there based off potential and his fundamentals, even though he took 2.5 years off. So now it's like, all right, here's a superstar. Let's see it to prove us right. And then with Adrian Broner, he has all this hype around him. He's this big draw, but people seem to hate on him. Like he's not this world-class fighter, which is crazy to me because, like you said, he's only lost to Porter, right? He lost to Porter and lost to Maidana. That's nothing to there's nothing to hang your head up about. No. It's not that big of a deal. But this is that fight where, you know, all his stuff in the media, all his shit talking, all his videos, his YouTube, his world star, once you stop winning or people view you as not that elite level fighter, it goes away, man. We don't care about your behind the scenes inside the Bentley or that you're Floyd Mayweather's boy. No one cares about that stuff. So, dude, that's why I wanted you on here, just to break it down for the people, because this fight is so big, man. I know there's UFC 1 or 214 on Saturday night,
And you guys know me. I love UFC, and there's some great fights. But I'm more excited. I'm going to go on record saying this. I'm more excited about Broner versus Garcia on Showtime this Saturday night. This fight stresses me out.
Yeah, yeah, it stresses me out too, and I'm sure the fighters are stressed out as well. But it also excites me. It's one of the better fights of the year, but it's kind of gotten caught up in the shadow of Mayweather-McGregor.
Everyone is.
Mayweather-McGregor.
Yep.
So it kind of got caught up in the shadow, but really, the fight is a very good fight, and it's one of the more exciting fights of the year. If Mayweather-McGregor wasn't around the corner, I think this fight would be getting a lot more coverage than it is.
I agree, man.
Really
I agree, brother. Well, I love having you on here, man. Love checking in with you. We're going to have you back as much as I can get you back on here, man. But good luck come Saturday night, Paulie. I know you're going to kill it on that broadcast on Showtime this Saturday on Showtime. It's Broner versus Garcia, and Paulie will be dropping those knowledge bombs like you're used to, my man. So thanks for coming on. As always, brother. Appreciate you.
Thanks, B. Always my pleasure. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, man.
Bye-bye.
Later, pal. There you have it. Paulie becoming a Big Brown Breakdown regular, right?
Indeed.
He's my go-to, man. Anything boxing now, I'm always going to have him on. If I need one of the brightest minds in the game, I reach out to Paulie. I send out that Paulie New York bat signal, and he always answers, man. So I appreciate him. I know he's a busy guy. And if that doesn't get you crunked for the Broner-Garcia fight, I don't know what will. And then the Conor info, you can't get anywhere else, man. That's some good stuff. So Paulie doing his thing. Tune in, Showtime this Saturday. Then obviously the big UFC 214 as well. And I will be in Chicago. Chin and I will be there, slanging jokes, talking fights, doing everything. Chicago, the only tickets left besides Dublin. tfatk.com right now. And then Dublin on the 7th. And then we just announced Pasadena Ice House. I am coming live, Pasadena, August 9th. That is the last stop on this official Money Fight Tour. Pasadena ended there August 9th. As always, I'm Brendan Shaw, Big Brown Batter, I think. I'm out.